Hello, this is Jim Reynolds, and I am here with Pastor Nate Hellman today, and you have made it onto the Christian Life Empowerment Podcast. So thank you for joining us today. And boy, we have had some wild times in the last couple of weeks, haven't we, Pastor Nate?
We have, yeah. Things have changed rapidly, and fortunately the smoke is cleared, but we've had some challenges and some really cool opportunities put before us.
Yeah, well, some of you may not know, Pastor Nate and I live in the Pacific Northwest, Portland, Oregon, to be exact, or we're suburb of Portland. And so to say that we've had some weird things happen in the last couple of weeks is really saying something. Because, I mean, we have gone from the coronavirus to the uprisings in downtown Portland to, you know, what have you. And all of a sudden we have these fires coming down on us from out of the hills. I mean, we were in level 1 for, I don't know what, almost 2 weeks here in Gladstone, which is crazy.
Yeah. A good solid week. All of Clackamas County, actually, the county where we're at, was in level 1, which was get ready. And so everybody was kind of watching the map over the course of that first week. It was the week of the, it was September 6th through 9 when the fires were really coming through.
Yeah. Well, and then just right across the Clackamas River and right across the freeway in Oregon City, they're level 2. So It isn't like, you know, we're level 1, yes, but right across the river and right across the freeway, it's level 2. Matter of fact, I rode my bike the other day on the other side of the Clackamas River. I went over the High Rocks Bridge and I went behind the pond. You can see the big burned out area where there was a big fire right over there. I mean, just right there. And so, we had that huge wind on Tuesday morning. We had that huge wind that was, 60, 70 mile an hour gusts, blowing trees over, blowing trees into power lines starting fires, and you had huge fires all over the place, fires coming together. And it just got really crazy and scary, and I mean, smoke was everywhere, so much that you could barely see 50 yards, it seemed like at times. And you look up at the sun, you'd have to, I remember there were a couple times where we'd look up at the sun, we'd look for it. We'd have to try to find the sun, right?
Right.
How many times have you had to try to find the sun? So it was, in a crazy year of 2020, it's been a crazy couple weeks. But in these couple of weeks and through this craziness, I just want to, I am so proud of the Oregon Conference, the Oregon Seventh-Day Adventist Conference. Because here in the Oregon Conference, we have a huge camp meeting every year that we didn't have this year because of coronavirus. And so I am not sure how many trailer spots with full hookups there at the Oregon Conference office in the campgrounds. But
I don't have that exact number, but I think it's close to 250, I think.
Is that just in the lower, or is that lower and upper?
I think that's lower and upper. We have fewer in the upper area, and usually the upper area is populated by tents. But don't quote me on the number. I think it may be up to 300.
So at one point, the Oregon Conference decided they were going to open up, because when these fires in the level 3 evacuation zones, people had to evacuate their houses. People were losing their houses. Yes. I mean, people were in these fires, and so they had to get out and get out quick. And so what did the Oregon Conference, I mean, how long did it take them to decide, hey, let's open up these campgrounds to everybody?
Yeah, I think that the decision was fairly quick. I know that within the first 24 hours, they were accepting campers in there. So this would be Wednesday the 9th when they started accepting campers. Tuesday was that windstorm.
Right.
So there were some quick decisions that were made. I am an employee of the conference, but I don't know how all those decisions were made. But it was fairly rapid. And at first it was just on the shoulders of Andy Villanueva, who has the disaster relief responsibilities. But as this grew and grew and grew, it took a whole logistical effort that had to kind of go to the next level over the next few days. But at first, it was going to be a Red Cross effort. And so Andy was on the phone figuring things out with the Red Cross, and the decision had been made to open up the campgrounds. But as you can imagine, with these fires, not just in Clackamas County, but down close to Salem, Silverton, the Red Cross in Oregon was just flooded with calls and with responsibilities. And so slowly it became apparent that, okay, this is something, if we're going to make this happen, we have to make it happen.
Right.
So that's when, okay, we needed to start making phone calls. We needed to start reaching out to local volunteers, put the word out, get local pastors involved. But things happened very, very rapidly. And I think it's just such a huge testament of the possibilities that are on our hands if we just look for those opportunities and meet those needs. And I'm just so thankful, as you said, for the Oregon Conference leadership who decided to take this on, to do this. Even though taking steps forward, it was like, well, I don't know how this is going to come together. But it did.
We're just going to do it. Yeah. Well, I remember Laura Pasco was in on it too at the first, because she was calling me. I was at the coast during this, and she's calling me and asking me to try to help, and then I'm at the beach for the next couple of days, and so I'm really impressed because there's a lot of things that you could look at if you're the Oregon Conference, because anymore it's like the lawyers run the show, right? You got to worry about everybody suing you. You got to worry about all kinds of different things, and all kinds of hassles could arise. But what I was so proud of is that they blew right past all that stuff, and they stepped out in faith and said, guess what, we're just going to help people. That's what we're going to do. And so they opened up the campgrounds for anybody that wanted to come in. And so you were part of the whole thing at the first, and what did you see as people started to arrive?
So I started helping out directly on Thursday, and what I saw was just an overwhelming sense of relief. Number one, they arrive and they're thinking, is there room for me here? They realize that there's room. Okay, so they're happy about that. Then they find out that there are RV electrical, sewer, and water hookups. Wow, they're really excited about that. And then they find out that it is free. And I know I didn't see directly, but I've heard story after story of people arriving in tears when they hear that they have a place to land, place to bed down, and that they're going to have their needs met while they're dealing with this trauma and this chaos of the possibility of losing their home or them finding out that they've lost their home. So the people whom I've seen and whom I've heard about have just been so grateful and really surprised at what has been available to them here at the campgrounds.
Yeah, I know. I talked to some people that had to move to several different places. First, they moved to a high school, and then they went from the high school to Clackamas Community College, and then they were kicked out of Clackamas Community College and moved down to the campgrounds. And all these places didn't have any hookups. So, and some of these people, they told me that somebody just knocked on their door and said, you got to go. And they had an hour to just hook up their trailer. And I don't know if you know anything about hooking up one of these big trailers, right? But some of these people are living in parks in these trailers. Some of these people have these things at the side of their house. They haven't used them since the last camping trip. I mean, it takes half a day to get ready to get a trailer to go, and these people have 1 hour just to put it all in and leave. And so some of them didn't have time to put water in their tanks. And so they were just, they seemed to be incredibly happy. They had full hookups. We were uniquely set up for that.
Yeah. It's interesting hearing you say that, because it paints the picture that they were in an extremely stressful situation with the unknown and with scrambling to get out of there. And then, to arrive and find out that there are many needs that are going to be met. I can just imagine, I've never been in this kind of urgent situation, but for them to arrive and have all those needs met, I can imagine that, okay, here's a little piece of peace, and comfort and assurance, and that's when the grief process might start, or when the emotional impact hits.
There are a lot of them are in a tough place. I mean, just now, some of them have left at this point, and today is the 22nd that we're talking today. And I was seeing some of them because I was doing some of the grief or the crisis counseling there, and for the most part, at first, people were in shock. They were still in shock. still trying to figure out what's going on, what's happening, why am I here, why, and everybody's looking at their computers trying to figure out, where the red zone is and if it's going to move in. And all of us had to. I mean, every single one of us here in this county, we're told we needed to pack and be ready to go.
Yep.
So we're all feeling this stress. So what an amazing thing for the people to just be able to breathe a sigh of relief. And what an amazing ministry. So, I mean, what did you hear as you talked to people, as they talked about, did they thank you? Did they, I mean...
Yeah. So my specific role has been coordinating volunteers. And so what I'm mainly hearing is stories from what has happened beyond that first Thursday, because I got pulled right in and I've been glad to help. But when it comes to the people that I have interacted with, they've been, that first couple of days are very stressful, but then they've settled into kind of a rhythm of life there where they get 2 meals a day. Lunch and dinner has been provided. And they've also got, the care team going around, just connecting with them on a casual basis, not pushing anything.
Right.
And that, let me just use that as a jumping off point to say, this has not been a religious, quote unquote, religious event where we're running religious programming. This is a service to people of all walks of life, and so we've made a point to not urge that. But when it comes to the experience of people, they've all had different experiences with this. Some have totally lost their home. Some have been watching the maps closely and got to leave early, and then some have been lingering there. And we've still got, I think there's 40 trailers there. We started with 160, 180, something like that. But Jim, what was your question? Because I went on a bunch of tangents there.
No, that's okay. And because I guess I've been on the care team, and it's been a really neat experience because I took the crisis counseling courses. I spent a couple weekends and I did online classes, and I've been anxious to use what I've learned, and so I've been able to be on the care team. And what I have noticed, and I guess the question is how did the people, were they thanking you? How did they feel about it? And I guess I ask you that because being on the care team, wow, people are they're just blown over by what the conference, what we're doing as volunteers there. I have never seen a more grateful group of people any time in my entire life. I mean, and I've been over to third world countries where they shower me with gratefulness, but just to be there, and these people were so stressed and they were in such a panic. I mean, I remember, because I went up, as you know, to help somebody move some of their stuff, right? And they were in a level 2, and I mean, I'm going towards the fire, and it's the smoke and everything's going on, and then I get in the traffic coming back, and it took me hours to get back, and I'm thinking, wow, how close is that fire, right?
Right.
I mean, it's stressful. Yeah. I mean, I was feeling that stress. As I'm going towards the fire, looking at the traffic coming back, I'm wondering, am I going to get back out of here? And so this is what everybody's feeling, and everybody's wondering. And you hear those stories about Paradise, California, where the fire is moving so fast, you can't get away from it. And, we're just in this point of ignorance where we don't really know what's going on. And it's like the fog of war, right? Those first reports, nothing's really true. And so everybody's feeling this high tension, and to have that we were able to offer people, wow.
Yeah.
I never seen people so grateful in all my life. Yeah. It was incredible. And I guess that's, and then we talk about the other not volunteers, but the community. So we had to put up a sign, didn't we?
Yeah, we had to finally put up a sign saying that we're not accepting donations because we were overwhelmed with donations. And this is a point to dwell on here, that this was not just a Seventh-day Adventist effort. This was a combined effort with the local community. And so we had businesses step up and cater breakfast and cater lunch. We had the the Kona, I think it's the Kona ice truck.
Right, yeah.
Show up, and they're giving out free slushies to everybody, and they're playing, this tropical steel drum music,
Yeah.
and it's just like a little beacon of joy, and seeing the kids run up and the adults run up and get their slushy drinks. It was really, really cool. And then people coming in immediately that first day, donating blankets, donating food, donating necessities, and so we've had donation tables out that are still going because we've been so overwhelmed with that response. And there's still stuff that's going out, even though we've said, it was 2 days into it, I think.
No more
donations.
And there's still more stuff that we can use.
There's still more stuff that came in those first few days.
Right.
And that's just a beautiful testament to the fact that there are people, when they see an immediate need, they just jump at it.
Yes.
And they dive right in. Hey, what can I do to help? And that's been something that I've been hearing over and over again, coordinating volunteers and hearing from other people in my network. What can I do to help? What kind of needs are there? How can I donate? Things like that. And that's been just awesome to see how people have dived right in. I wish I had all the names of the businesses who contributed, because there's a whole bunch of local people who came in and helped.
Well, I'll throw a plug out to Bhutan Thai, the Thai food restaurant that we ate yesterday.
Hey.
That's my favorite Thai food restaurant here in the local area, and they are fantastic. I mean, it's
Nice.
It's not always easy for a vegetarian to find a good place to eat, and Bhutan Thai is just, wow, those guys are good. And that's, that kind of brings me to another part of this is, I go to that restaurant all the time, Bhutan Thai, and I've really never had, they have their Buddhas and stuff there, and I've never really had a chance to. I've talked to them a little bit about what I do in different third world countries, but I've never had a really chance to talk to them about my Christian experience so much. That's just never come up. But now that they have worked with us, it gives me that opportunity, and kind of where I wanted to take this conversation is how is this giving us an opportunity during this time of coronavirus? We can't do our traditional Revelation series. We can't do our traditional bridge events. I mean, there's just, we're everything's online right now. Yeah. And so, what we want to do with ministry, we're stuck. We can't do what we normally do because so much of it is one-on-one and bringing groups together and it's social interaction. So how do you think God kind of put this together, give us a chance to do ministry?
Yeah, I think traditionally our model, our approach has been, come here to where we are, here's a program that you got to come to.
Right.
You don't want to miss it. We send out flyers. I'm not saying that that's a bad thing. That's an opportunity for people to make choices and to get exposed to the scriptures and things like that. But this COVID and these fires have provided opportunities for us to meet people where they are, to get up off the pew and go to where the needs are. I don't remember who said it, but years ago I heard a quote that was talking about praying for God to bless our efforts. Mm-hmm. And the quote has to do with not being so concerned about God blessing our efforts, but about us being a part of those things that God is already blessing.
Oh, yeah.
And so this has provided that opportunity. I mean, think of Jesus' ministry. He's out there meeting the practical needs of people. And with that, doors are open for conversation to go deeper. It's not a cold call or a knocking on the door and
or a flyer in the mailbox.
It's real people and us being real and meeting their needs, and that's how relationships are built. And so I'm hopeful that those types of relationships would be fruitful. In fact, I did hear a story of a lady who is wanting to know where to find a local Adventist church. She lives up closer to Estacada, but she's wanting to find an Adventist church because she says, I've really connected with you well, and I really want to know what you're all about. Where can I go? And so those kind of doors open when you're meeting practical needs.
Right? Yeah. And we're meeting practical needs, as you said earlier. We aren't pushing religion on anybody. We're not pushing, anything like that. And we're doing the right thing just because it's the right thing to do. We're just being people that love people. Right. And that's where I'm watching people's eyes being open, saying, I didn't even know this area was down here. I didn't know anything about the Adventist. This is their exposure to the Adventist, because if you go online, or you go to an Ellen White hate site or whatever, you're going to learn some things about Adventists, what you think about Adventist, right? But when you meet the people and meet people helping, I think as a ministry, what do you think about this as we move forward?
The fires aren't always going to be here.
Right.
But human need is always there. And so I think that as church leaders, as church members, as Christians, we should figure out where the needs are and just go and serve. And it doesn't have to be a big thing with a lot of hoopla. Just find a need and serve. And it's not until you serve and get out there and you're meeting a need that you realize just how rewarding it is.
Yeah.
And it's not just rewarding in the sense of I'm doing the right thing, although that's what we need to be doing. But it's rewarding in the sense that you see that you can make an impact in a person's life. You can make a difference in a person's life. You can serve them and bring about their quality of life, bring it to a better place, or give them some relief, or whatever it may be. And you see that, okay, I can be used by God to make an actual difference in a person's life. And then let's let the education of what the scriptures say come after that. I think of touching base with local community leaders, such as the mayor or the fire department or the police department or senior centers or any local nonprofits, and just tapping into what the local needs are and seeing what you can do to go and contribute. And it's not like we as Adventists have to go and reinvent the wheel and do our own thing over here, but why not partner with others? Like what happened here, the campgrounds down here, we had all sorts of people from all walks of life collaborating and just meeting real needs. I think that God uses that and blesses that, because I've seen it, I've experienced it.
Yeah. And it isn't like we're going to meet the needs of people so you can join our church.
Right. That's important.
We've got to be we've got to be doing this for the right reason. We've got to be meeting the needs of people because we love people, because we want to meet your needs, not because I want you to join my church. So if I meet your need, I expect you something out of you type thing.
Right. Or I'm not going to do this because we're not handing out flyers to our church thing. That's not what it's about. It's about showing God's love in a practical way.
Just showing God's love, and then letting God work from there. Because I'm telling you, it's a tougher and tougher world, and it's more and more secular world out there, and people are looking for a hook, right?
Yeah,
they're looking for you to want something back, because nobody gives it. There's no free lunch, right? There is a free lunch, right?
Sure. Yeah.
When you're genuinely working for the Savior, you're not expecting anything out of it. People may, Bhutan Thai may go back and worship Buddha or whatever they're doing over there, and that's none of my business. My business is just to be part of them and build a relationship with them. That's all I'm expected to do. God's doing the rest of it.
Yeah.
So, wow, I think that, as I said, I'm so proud of the Oregon Conference and the leadership there for what they're doing right now. And I'm not an employee, so I have no reason to butter them up. But and Nate's just a lowly pastor.
Right.
but yeah, I'm so proud of what they did through this, and I just think that God just opened up this huge door of understanding of how we can help people, and we know. We don't know where we're at in Earth's history. We don't know where we're at. And I'm not a guy holding a big sign saying the world is coming to an end. But we do know as the world starts to wind down that more and more stuff like this is going to happen. Yeah. And as more and more stuff like this happens, This is our opportunity to show, to be Jesus.
Yes.
This is that opportunity to be Jesus, to be the church, and just help people, and then watch what the Holy Spirit does with that. Because people are looking right now.
Right.
I mean, it's a tough year. 2020 is just a tough year.
Yeah. And people are looking for hope. They're looking for human connection. And those aren't necessarily things that you can find at a click of the button on the internet. So I would challenge the listeners right now. I hear people say, well, I don't know what I'm called to do. I don't know what my spiritual gifts are. I don't know what my purpose is. I don't even know what my strengths are. I would challenge you to just find a need and serve. And watch what God does with that. And in the process of doing that, you're going to discover what God has made you to do. He's called us all to serve.
Right. Yeah.
And as we serve, we figure out, hey, I'm passionate about this, or I'm good at that. And God's going to bless you in the serving, and God's going to bless others through you. So I would challenge any listener to just find a need and meet it.
Yeah. Amen. Hey, I think that is a great place to stop. Thank you, Pastor Nate, for joining me again. And then, look forward to more of these podcasts. Pastor Nate and I are looking at another one we're going to do. We've been brainstorming about it, and so we'll bring that up a little later as we get it figured out exactly what we're going to do. But I want to just encourage everybody here to like and share this if they want, and to become a subscriber of this podcast, and call me or email me at ultimatemission1@gmail.com and let me know what kind of ministry you're involved with, and maybe we'll have you on and you can tell us what you're doing as well. We're always looking for new ways and new ways that God is blessing people doing ministry. So thank you very much. God bless, and have a wonderful, wonderful day.